Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and starting with the Nasdaq here. So I've been looking at the market in a bullish and bearish fashion, and that means that we can look at wave 3 here with wave 4 here, and we can keep climbing to the upside, or we can have all of this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave over here. And having it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave over here is really how we're looking at Apple, as you know. So if this was going to be an A, B, C pattern up here, it has risen high enough here into its, 50, 60, 70% retracement level. There is a good case for having 5 waves up to this point here as well. So this is where we can either have some type of small correction and a push up, or we'll see a bigger move to the downside here, probably just nipping out the previous low here before moving to the upside here. So in this case here, it would be difficult to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, because wave 4 would overlap wave 1. So it would have to be a series of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in this particular instance. If it was going to be 1 and 2 here, then it would need to pull back, well, a reasonable amount, wouldn't it? Normally it would pull back 50, 60%, well, 40, 50, 60, all of that. So it would come quite deep in this case. So there's quite a good reason to look to short here. And the other reason to look to short here would be that you can see that the market was strong in the middle, because we have a beginning of a trend, a middle of a trend, and an end of a trend, and the beginning, the middle, and the end. And you can see that the market's creeping here, and the verification of creeping is when you get overlapping wave structures with highs and lows, and that's what we're seeing here. So there's, we've been looking for a turning point, and it's taken sort of, a good 3 or 4 days, even 5 days probably now, not quite sure, but yeah. So let's go in and have a bit of a look at this. So let's just go into 20k just to have a look at the sort of 5 waves up here. Now, the 5 waves up here could be counted in 2 different ways. I can see that I can, on the intraday, I've got wave 3 sitting over here for this as well. Is there a case for putting wave 4 here? Well, this move coming down from the top here to the bottom here, I've had a bit of a look at this, and I've looked at it on the compositive and also the Nasdaq 100 as well, because the product that we're using here is also a CFD product. So it takes the cash market and the futures market and a thing called fair value into consideration, and they also need to make their own market as well. So sometimes highs and lows don't all match up, but on the compositive and the physical market, the Nasdaq, these 2 tops here are different on both of them, and it makes a bit of a difference how I count this down here. So I can't get a very clean count on this here. I could count it down as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. I could also count it down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But either way, there's problems with both of them when I, compare them to other markets. So this is not really that sort of helpful, actually, this particular move down here. It could be an ABC or 5 waves down. Now, this move over here, it's corrected back as a nice sort of ABC, or could be 1 and 2. Doesn't count very nicely as 1 here. It actually counts quite nicely as a corrective wave. And and I think also on the compositive or the Nasdaq, this particular low here is lower than this one on one of them. So it does present a good case for being a B wave here and having all of this as being corrective. Let me just check that again. But first of all, I'll just go into 1000, and then we can go where we need to go from that point. So I mean, at first sight, one would go one from the top, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And that counts okay. And this B wave is above this, but I just wanted to go and have a look just to double check again on that here. It's above here. What about on this one here? Yeah, you see this is the composite of here. You see how it's just a little bit lower than this one here? So we couldn't look at this being wave 1 to the upside in this rally. And also 2, it counts better as 3 waves up here. And I'm not getting 5 waves down here either. So it's presenting itself as a nice corrective pattern, which would make this corrective. The other thing here is that on the composite of here, it makes a little bit of difference when you're really trying to sort of count all the waves on a 1 minute chart. And on a 1 minute chart here, you see how that top here is higher than this one here? Well, over on the Nasdaq, that's not the case. It's the other way around. Here, I just need to bring this back into this space here. So this is the top here over this one. And it makes a difference because I can't count that down as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here. So that's the sort of detail, because I mean at first glance it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then you go, oh, wave 4 is overlapping wave 1, is that important? All those sorts of things, you know. So then I've counted down here, which is 5 waves in this little leg here. Yeah, so it makes a little bit of a difference. I'm not getting a nice clean 5 waves down here. It counts better as being corrective. So we'll have to be a bit careful. So this is also corrective here. And that means that this is all. So basically, you know, we talked yesterday about, if I just go back here for a moment, and I'll just go to the 20K here just to draw things out a little bit and look at the trap here. So it's quite possible for this to be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then move up at that point. That was one way that we were looking at it. I don't think that can be wave 4 here, so that will have to be a wave 2 pulling back. So it pull back a bit deeper in this instance here to be a wave 2. On the S&P, it could be a wave 4. It's not such a big deal, but here would be overlapping this top here as 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would have to be wave 1 here. Sorry to make this a bit complicated, but I think it's important to understand. And wave 2 coming back here. So it's possible to do that. So the other game that we're playing here is that we're looking for this to be a top here, and we're looking for it to pull down back down to this point here, and we can bring this wave 4 across and all those sorts of things. So that's what we're sort of looking at the moment. So we can put trades on here. We can look to go short. It's all about the 15,500. This is really the balance line of all this activity that's happening here. So if that became the resistance or became the support, then, you know, I mean, you've got to put your trader's hat on. So that means that in this case, it has risen quite high. It has risen back up to supply levels here, and then been beaten down. So as a long trade here, I would look to go long above here. I'd put my trader's hat on. And in first instance, I'd look to go short here. But I was looking at this little sharp move here, and this also appears to be 5 waves down here. So that's kind of interesting. So we could actually short here. The problem with that is that it may just come down to here and then push up again. But based on what we could see with the composite, with this being the low below this one here, and this one here not really reflecting a nice 5 waves up here as corrective, the balance would be that the market would come down here. So putting a very small bet on here, and putting the stop above here, I think that would be reasonably sort of safe at that point. Now, what happens at the 500 here is that the market normally, as I normally say, has the arrival, the reaction, which it's doing now, and then the first low below the level, and then it can come back and retest it and then drop again. So it will give us another point here to get in here, so you could short it over here for this. I'm probably rambling on a bit too long for this particular video here, but this will also apply to stocks as well. So if we go to 100 here, this particular move that's come down here so far I can see that this is from the top here is wave 1 here. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 1 and 3 down to here for 5. So this is wave 3, 4, and 5. So it's quite clear that we've got 5 waves here. So that means that we can look to short it under here for that. We're going to see it's trying to find support on this 5, 5 here. So it wants to have a bit of a rally, and by all means it could move back up to the 50-60%. We don't know that at this point. I mean, this looks like it's all looks like it's this block here looks like it's one structure here, and then this is some sort of corrective structure here. And if it does push up, this will be the sort of the A, the B, and the C of it up here in that case, So you could even short it up here. We'll talk more about that in the what's name video. I've rambled on too long. I didn't mean to. I got carried away with myself. So Apple here, let's just go to the 1000. All the stocks, when they get to top, they're always a mixed basket. Some will turn first and come down. Some will still be going up. And, as I mentioned before, there'll be a lot of red and green on your screens in this particular area here where we are. We are seeing that over the days here. The main point with the Nasdaq here, we were looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could count it down as an A and a B and a C here, by the way, but the proportions of wave C to wave A here don't really match. We can also see here too that we're at our 62% retracement level, and it's a little bit higher. We gravitate to the closest largest number. So we could also pretty much put a top in here. There's a little bit of thing going on here, so we could probably move it over here and have another little move up here in the next session to finish it off. But definitely this particular trend here has a beginning, a middle, and an ending here. And in this case, we could call it 1, 2, 3, 4 because it wouldn't overlap wave 1 here in that case. We can look at it as the ABC pattern. In one way or another, the long trade here is not worth doing because you're hitting supply and the market trend here hasn't rebalanced anyway. So the short trade would be the one to be had here. So going from 100 ticks to 1000 to 100. Any long trade we had up here, we've taken some money off here and here and out, so we're out of this trade at the moment. Now, tops don't always finish off very nicely, so I can see I've got 5 waves here. I could probably drag this up to here without too much problem here. I could probably put this here, some sort of A, B, and C to here, and maybe 1 and 2 into here, and sort of going up in here to 5. I don't really know. I mean, it's 1, 2. I need to want it's sort of all that's 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, I really need to leave that back over here. So I'm a little bit unsure about this particular top here. We could get another. It looks like it wants to get another. There's probably a good case here for 5 waves down here. So it could be an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finishing here and drop at this point. Yeah, I just don't know on this one. But we need to look at moving into it on the short side. So the first thing that, well, if it's not going to go up, it's going to go down. And what can't it go past? It can't go past that, so it can't go past that, so it can't go past that. So that would be the short trade at that point. And that could go up here further. And if it does go up here further, this could be 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5. It could do something like that. There's some stocks that need to go higher. And then if it had a sharp move down, that's when we would look at it as an ABC pattern retest here. Then we'd bring this over to this point here and come down at that point. And then we would look to add to this under the in this space here under group 2. This group 2 is resistance here, the 186.50 would be the rejection of this closest largest number at that point. So we're getting there. We just don't really have the setup. We've been waiting all of this time, it's been a while. So anyway, let's just see how that finishes off. So we come over to to Amazon, and I've been counting this here as an A wave, an ABC for the B wave here, and then 5 waves up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sitting here for this, so I can put both of these on here. Now this could also be a wave 1 here, pulling back as an ABC for wave 2 over here. I just don't know that. You know, this could be the alternative wave 4 here. That sort of works. And if I just go, it's a little bit complicated, this particular top as well. If I just go back a little bit to, I don't know, let's have a look at 1,000. Yeah, so I could have wave 3 here, for instance, 5 waves down here for the A wave, and ABC for the B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for the C wave for wave 4. So this would be the bullish counter, and we've got 5 waves up here. This could be wave 1, and then we've got to have an ABC pattern here, and then push up again from that point. It doesn't quite overlap here, does it? Or did or didn't? I can't remember, but yeah, it does. So yeah, will this come down through here? I mean, you know, it's got a bullish case here for this, you know. I'll just go to the next, I don't know what I got on the 5, probably the same if it's that, yeah. So it's certainly doable to the upside. So this is the whole thing with all of the markets at the moment, you know. It's, you know, I don't want to be left standing looking like an idiot. So I'm just sort of, you know, pointing out that there is a bullish case for the markets and there is a bearish case for the markets. And the bearish case comes really from Apple. And yeah, and I just think we need to be you know, sometimes we can be flamboyant and other times we need to be cautious. And this is a time that we need to be cautious, and we need to edge our way forward in a small way. I know that's boring, but it's just where we are within the structure. If you know better, well then that's fantastic, but in the meantime I have to just sort of edge forward. And in this case here, we can count 5 waves down here from this top here in this case. So I'm not sure if we've got another little push up here. That's the 50-60% at this point. Yeah, so we could probably get the short trade set up in the next session. We can look to go short here, but of course at this point, but that's a long way away from everything at this point. So it does look like we want to push up a little bit higher here. But what we're looking for is the first move down here. So don't think that you've missed anything. And then that first move here will have the little ABC back at that point. And then we can move over to this point, you know, so that's what you might see in the next session. It could just drop straight from here as well, but the same thing applies. And you don't want to be caught on the bottom here with that there. You know, I'm just saying that this under here is where we need to short it from, but the move down, if you can count that in 5 waves, then you can, you know, redo it over here at that point. But I'll just leave this below here for the time being. There is a good case for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I have pulled that apart, and that was my conclusion, that it does present a nice 5 wave structure to the downside. So we should see another one down here. Could you short it in this box up here? I don't see why not, as long as you just don't overdo it. That's, you know, the risk is there. You could probably drop that down a little bit there as well. Okay, so NVIDIA. So there's a good case that from the October lows that we have 5 waves all the way up here. I could put this wave 5 here and have that top in there. We've talked about this before, this 5 wave structure here, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It could just be wave 1 and 2 here, and then push up from that point. It's possible, and have 3, 4, 5 here, you know, and then have a larger correction across the 500 here, something of that nature. I mean, normally what I sort of get from levels is that this should really be, in one way or another, should be this wave 3 over here, and then we should be going into wave 4 here. But that's how I normally sort of see things. So this top here is a little bit sort of a little bit tricky, but let's just go into, I'll see what we've got on the 1,000 here. Yeah, there's a good, well, it depends on how you want to count this spiky bit in here too, how you get to this situation of being an A and a B and a C wave here. It counts quite nicely for that. And up here I can count from the low, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. I can count this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. Yes, I could count it as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and continue to the downside, but my point being here is that anything under this low here would be a short trade, because that would be the ABC at that point. So if that's invalidated, well, then you can go short at that point. So as a little 5-wave move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pulling back into the 61.8%, which is not a big deal because actually wave 1 coming down here would also be at the 50-60% retracement level as well. But the point here, this is the low, and I have got a nice 5-wave structure up here, you know. I don't want to go long before a level. I have to wait for it to sit on the other side, you know. Then I'll go long. You know, I need the wind in my sails, so to speak, at this point. It's not there. So that's the long side of it. And the short side, let's just go in and have a closer look. Let's just get a bit more and more. Okay, so in this case, if I was going to look at this as being bearish down here, I could look at the A wave as wave 1 and 2 here and 3, 4, 5 here. So I can get 5 waves from the top to here, but then I've got this other move here, which I'd have to look at as an A wave, a B wave making a low here, and then a C wave up here, which is nothing wrong with that. But the point being is that the wave C here is rather long compared to wave A, so doesn't really give us much thing there, you know. So we're out of this long trade, and I put this red one here because I feel I had this because I couldn't use this charting program yesterday, and took me sort of 4 or 5 hours to resolve it, and I still haven't resolved it. I had to get a VPN and come in outside Australia to get it, so I'm not quite sure. I'm having a lot of IT problems this week. I mean, when it rains it pours, I have to say. So anyway, I don't know if we talked about going short here on some sort of retest or something, because I can't, it was like we didn't use this program yesterday. But anyway, if you are short, that's why I just put this here. It's just to keep this here, but I probably wouldn't have been keen on shorting the strongest stock. So yeah, I'm not sure. I put the red one there, but the green one was already here, so I'm not sure what I've talked about at that point. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. This, I mean, it's a shame that this made a new high here, because otherwise we could have used that, which would have been nicer. But that would be 1, 2. We could use all of that. Yeah, we should really be using all of that. I wonder if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the other way to look at it. Can I just borrow these for a moment? Let's play the bear for a moment. So first of all, I'll just put that here, and this one here, I'm just going to use it anyway. But basically, we could, it's going to bounce on the 480 here anyway. I mean, it looks like it's struggling here, doesn't it? That's the thing. mean, it's normal to have a bounce off the number 8. It hasn't bounced very far. It's looking a little bit sad. It looks like it could go up further. It could look like this is an A and a B and a C wave here for the A wave, and a B wave here, and another little move up here. It looks like that could also be the case as well, with a little impulse wave here and 3, 4, 5 here for this, and then come down and bounce at this point and then move on down. It could be something like that. But anyway, shorting it under here, because this, like I mentioned, this would have to be the A, the B, and the C wave here, even though that spike there, I could probably use something in here, but yeah, there's 5 waves there. I can see that 5, so, but then I've got that there, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I think that's the best bet, I think we have our 5 waves to the downside. So you could probably do a little short trade in here, but I'll leave that up to you. I don't have a good setup there just yet for this. We may not get very far, but as soon as we get this top in, we'll bring that stop down at that point. But if you're short here, that's what you'll need to keep that. And meta platform, so the same sort of thing again. We've got that. We've got this big move down here. Then we've got an A and a B and a C wave up here. So this is boxes our 50-60% at this point, and that looks pretty much, it doesn't look like 5 waves down here. I mean, that we could look at that as 5 waves down, but I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little bit dodgy at that point. So it looks corrective here for this. So that means that then I've got this here. I've had this extra move here, so I might have to just push this across here actually. Let me just sort this here for a moment. Okay, I've got some there, that's good. This makes for a better wave 3 here anyway. So I think we've got a little bit to go to the upside here, but at the same time, we can look to short this under here. I mean, it looks like 3 waves here, so this could be corrected, but it's like the S&P in that, the move down here, you could, put it as 5 waves, but it doesn't do a very good job of it, and in a bullish sense too, it's normal for the market to, hit a big number and, squish up like this, But I think this has got some sort of other little move here to make another high here first. But we need to prepare for the short at this point. Okay, and Netflix here, from this low here, we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has got 3 waves in it, right? So that means we can also short it under here. How far you get is another issue because we haven't reached our target area. We're close, so there might be enough, but I've got this extra little leg in here. In most of the other stocks, we put wave B here because it's made another low here, but in this case, it hasn't made another low here. So I may need to look at that as 1 and 2 here, which would force this to be wave 3 up here and wave 4 to come back. So even if it does break lower here, it may just come down to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and then push up here. But I think that we do need to look at the short trade here because this is this is just a little part trade here, because anything below this here would be would bring us down lower anyway, and we can manage that risk at that point. Alphabet. So with Alphabet, we were still looking for further upside. So we've got from wave 4, we've got 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. So I think this is just a wave 4 here with an A and a B and a C coming back to this wave 4 and then wave 5 to the upside, and then we complete at that point. We're not in this trade anyway now, so that's all finished. So we'll just wait for this. And then we've got Microsoft, which is a little bit the same as Google in a way, but a slightly different count. Once again, we could doesn't count very down here nicely as 5 waves, but we can look to short it under here. But I'm thinking that it's going to follow and create another little move here for this. I can't go long here unless I was on top of the 330 with a classic trading levels pattern. We need the first high above the level. We don't have it. But this move here looks like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here as well. So anything below that, if that happened, that would be on the short side at that point. But otherwise, and if this does push up here, then we need to remove this out the way. Hasn't really made a new high above here either. Maybe a bit like Netflix, we need to use this one here as wave 1 and 2 and bring this across over to here. Anyway, I won't put the short trade in there because I don't have a good setup. I'll just wait. And then we come to Tesla. So I think yesterday and the day before, even though I was using a different charting program yesterday, we were looking at a little wave 4 in here and looking for one more move to the downside. So we've got that. So now we have 5 waves to the downside. This is what we're looking for. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got 1, 2 to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So in this case, when we look at this, and it's a little bit messy at the top here, but I'm not going to look at this as some sort of A, B, and C here, because this is 1 and 2, and this is 3. This is a dog's breakfast, so it's got to be wave 4, and then we can look at wave 5 being over here from that. So some sort of A, B, and C here for that. So I'm quite happy with this, all of this move. So what it means now is that we can go short under here, but at the same time, this 5 wave structure down here should see some sort of ABC pattern here before it goes down further. So we got time, we've got time to get the right setup for this, so we don't have to worry about it too much at this point. But we will be looking for a short trade here, unless something sort of weird happened. But we've met our target. We're up there in 3 waves. This is not wave 4 because it's pulled down a bit deeply, too deep for this. It could be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but if that was the case, I'd still need an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. And a C wave down here would bring a wave 2 too low. So we're on the bearish side with Tesla. We always knew that Tesla was one of the better shorts. So that's still panning out quite nice. Yeah, I didn't want to take the turn because I wasn't sure. It's not like we're in a trend in the market. You can buy the pullback or sell the rally. It's something we have to edge our way forward. So we're not going to get the best price, but we're looking for safe money and safe trade. And that's what we're doing here. So we'll probably see the next session rally, and yeah, we'll probably some stocks will rally like this. There'll be some stocks like Microsoft and Google that can take their tops out here. So we're still not quite there on the bearish side with these just yet. I have to have a look at the announcements, but the announcements normally, they're normally Wednesday and Thursday mainly. So I can see now you've got jobless claims on We've got PMI final on Wednesday. Nothing Tuesday, nothing important. I mean, well, there's stuff that's important. Some auctions, some treasury auctions and things, but yeah, jobless claims on Thursday. So that might be the one that we're looking for. Okay, I'll leave it all at that. Sorry to make such a long video. Cheers.